The World Cup is the most prestigious tournament in football, where the best players have the chance to represent their countries on the biggest stage. However, not all great players have had that opportunity. Today, we'll talk about some of the brightest stars who, for various reasons, never made it to a World Cup. Considered one of the greatest footballers of all time, George Best, the Northern Irish legend, never played in a World Cup. Despite his incredible talent, Northern Ireland failed to qualify during his prime years, preventing him from shining on football's biggest stage. Best viewed international football as recreational due to the lower level of his teammates. In 1982, at age 35, he was close to being called up for the World Cup in Spain, but he was excluded due to his age and alcohol issues. Additionally, he hadn't played for the national team in 5 years. Alberto Spencer, an Ecuadorian forward of Jamaican descent, is considered the best Ecuadorian player in history and one of the top 20 South American footballers of the 20th century, according to the International Federation of Football History and Statistics. He holds the record for most goals in the Copa Libertadores, with 54, achieved with Peñarol. Despite his success at the club level, Spencer never managed to qualify for the World Cup with Ecuador. Eric Cantona was a legend at Manchester United and dominated English football during his career. He was called up by the French national team in the late 1980s, but unfortunately, they failed to qualify for the 1990 World Cup in Italy. 4 years later, France again missed out on the 1994 World Cup. Cantona seemed destined to play in the 1998 World Cup, hosted by France. But his explosive temperament and a tense relationship with the national coach left him out of the squad, even as France went on to win the tournament. Bernd Schuster, a great German player who had the privilege of playing for Spain's 3 biggest clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico de Madrid. Schuster was called up for a match between Germany and Albania, but chose not to attend due to the birth of his child, creating a sporting scandal at the time. He retired from international football at 24 due to ongoing disagreements with the German Football Association, coach Jupp Derwall, and some teammates. He later admitted, "Leaving the national team was a tough and probably wrong decision, but I had no one to advise me at the time." Arsenio Erico, a historic Paraguayan footballer, considered by FIFA as Paraguay's best player and one of the best South American footballers in history. He is the top scorer in the history of Argentine football with Independiente. Unfortunately, he never had the chance to play in a World Cup with the Paraguayan national team. It's known that he was offered the chance to play for Argentina on several occasions, but he always declined. Di Stefano, a Real Madrid legend and one of the greatest players in history, never played in a World Cup. Despite holding the nationality of 3 countries, Argentina, Colombia, and Spain, he was unable to participate in the tournament. For the 1962 World Cup in Chile, Spain qualified and Di Stefano was selected, but an injury kept him out, and he never played a single World Cup match. Ryan Giggs, who played his entire career at Manchester United, never competed in a World Cup because his national team, Wales, failed to qualify during his active years. Giggs is regarded as one of the best players in history who didn't have the chance to participate in such a significant international tournament. The only African player to win the Ballon d'Or, George Weah, never played in a World Cup because his country, Liberia, didn't qualify during his career. Weah had a brilliant club career but couldn't lead his nation to the World Cup. During the 2002 World Cup qualifiers, Weah served as player, captain, sponsor, and assistant coach. Although they gave their best effort, they fell short of qualifying, finishing second, just 1 point behind the group leader. These players proved that you don't need a World Cup to be considered a football legend. Although they never played in the sport's biggest competition, their impact on the game remains immeasurable. Which player do you think most deserved to play in a World Cup? Let us know in the comments.